You don't pull the trigger first. You wait. That's the part nobody tells you. The hours before the shot, that's where the real damage happens. Not to the target, to you. This is what it actually looks like, level by level. Level 1. The call. You're nobody. That's the first thing you need to understand. You don't have a rank, you don't have a unit, you don't even have a name right now. You have a number, and a phone that rings at 4:47 in the morning. You pick up. No greeting, no introduction, just a location, a building, a floor, a window facing northeast, and a time. You've been through the training, 18 months of it, cold mornings in the mountains of northern Georgia, learning how to read wind, how to breathe slow, how to make your heartbeat irrelevant. But this isn't training. The number on your screen tells you that. You get dressed in the dark. You don't eat. You don't call anyone. You pick up the case from under your bed, the one you've had packed for 6 weeks, and you walk out the door. The streets of Warsaw are empty at this hour. Wet cobblestones, orange streetlights, a cat watching you from a doorway. You don't look suspicious because you don't look like anything. That's the job. Be nothing. Level 2. The setup. The building is a decommissioned textile warehouse on the east side of the city. You were given a key 2 weeks ago by a man you never spoke to. He handed it to you through a car window at a red light. You've been back 3 times since then, studying the angles, the light, the foot traffic below. You know this building better than your own apartment. You take the stairs, not the elevator. Never the elevator. 5th floor, 3rd window from the left. You open the case slowly. The rifle is custom, suppressed, chambered in .338 Lapua. You've fired this exact configuration 200 times in the last 4 months. You know what it feels like at rest, at tension, at release. You set up the bipod on the ledge, low profile, below the window frame. You don't lean into the light. You become part of the shadow. Below you, the street is beginning to wake up. A bakery opens its shutters. A man walks a dog. A tram passes. And somewhere in that normal, quiet morning, your target is also waking up, getting dressed, making coffee, not knowing. You settle in, and you wait. Level 3. The wait. Here's what they don't tell you about this job. The waiting is the hardest part. Not the technical execution, not the escape. The waiting. Because your mind fills the silence. You start thinking about who gave the order. You don't know. You never know. That's by design. You think about the file they sent you. 1 photograph, 1 name. Victor Laszlo Marin, 54 years old. Gray coat. Walks to the same cafe every morning at 7:15. You don't know what he did. You don't ask. Asking is a different kind of job, and that job doesn't pay like this one. The earpiece clicks once. That means he's been spotted 2 blocks out. Your breathing shifts automatically. 4 counts in, hold, 6 counts out. Your pulse drops. Everything narrows. The street below becomes a single frame, a corridor, a stage. And you are the only one who knows what happens next. Level 4. The shot. He appears at the corner of Nui Suite and Brocka exactly on schedule. Gray coat, slow walk, a newspaper folded under his arm. He looks tired. He looks like somebody's grandfather. You don't let that thought finish. You've been trained to collapse that kind of thinking before it starts. He crosses the street. He stops at the cafe entrance. He reaches for the door handle. You exhale. The trigger breaks. The rifle absorbs back into your shoulder. Suppressed. It sounds like a staple gun. The street doesn't react. No screaming yet. No sirens. Just a man who has fallen. And you already pulling back from the ledge. You break down the rifle in under 40 seconds. Case closed. Gloves off. You walk to the stairwell. You don't run. Running is how people remember you. Level 5. The exit. You're on the street in 6 minutes. You blend into the morning crowd heading toward the metro. Behind you, you can hear the first siren in the distance. You don't look back. Looking back is for people who feel guilty. You're not there yet. Not yet. You take the metro 2 stops north, switch lines, take a tram west, walk 4 blocks south. Classic counter-surveillance pattern. Broken geometry. No straight lines. You board a regional train at 8:40. You're in Krakow by noon. The second half of your payment clears at 1:17 p.m. You sit in a restaurant and order soup. The news is already on the television above the bar. Breaking report. Warsaw. Prominent businessman. Street shooting. No suspects. You eat your soup, and you feel nothing. That's when you should have been scared. Not of getting caught. Of yourself.
Level 6. The money. 400,000 euros. That's what your account shows 48 hours later. Not in one place. Never in one place. Split across 6 accounts in 4 countries. You know how to move money the same way you know how to move through a crowd. Quietly, without pattern, without trace. 3 months pass. The phone rings again. You pick up. This time the location is Bucharest. This time the photograph shows a woman, mid-40s, short hair, sharp eyes. You look at the file for a long time, longer than you did with Marin. You tell yourself it doesn't matter. You tell yourself it's just geometry, angle, distance, wind. The phone is still in your hand. You haven't said yes yet, but you haven't said no either. That's silence. That's the moment you cross something. You say yes. Level 7. The routine. 6 assignments in 14 months. You've stopped looking at the photographs for more than 5 seconds. You've stopped wondering what they did. You sleep well. That bothers you more than the not sleeping would. You have an apartment in Lisbon now. Ocean view. Good coffee. A tailor-made wardrobe. You run every morning. You go to a local market on Sundays. People smile at you. An old woman calls you by the name on your false passport, Marco. You smile back. Marco is easy. Marco is harmless. Marco has never been to Warsaw. But you, the real you, feels something starting to shift. It starts small. You check the street twice before crossing it. You sit facing doors in restaurants. You sleep with the lamp on. You start noticing men who look like you. Patient men. Men who drink their coffee slowly and watch too carefully. You tell yourself it's paranoia, but you've been doing this long enough to know there's a difference between paranoia and patterned recognition, and you're starting to see a pattern. Level 8. The turn. The next file arrives differently, not through the usual channel. This one comes to your real email address, the one nobody has. Your stomach drops before you even open it. One photograph, one name. You. Not your alias, not Marco. Your real name, your real face, taken 4 days ago outside a market in Lisbon. And underneath it, a message in plain text. Your contract has been reassigned. Consider this professional courtesy. You sit very still for a long time. You think about Marin. You think about the woman in Bucharest. You think about every person who opened the file and saw a photograph and felt nothing. You are now the photograph. You are now the geometry. You close the laptop. You pack one bag. You leave everything else. The apartment, the tailor, the old woman who calls you Marco. You walk out into the Lisbon morning and you don't look back. Not because you're not guilty, but because looking back is what gets you killed. Level 9. The hunter. 3 weeks in the dark. Moving cities. Paying cash. Sleeping in 4-hour intervals. Porto, Madrid, Tangier, Tunis. You know how to disappear, but so does whoever's coming for you, because they trained the same way you did. Maybe in the same mountains, maybe by the same instructors. You start thinking about the structure that built you, the chain of orders, the man at the red light with the key, the number that called you at 4:47 a.m. You realize you never questioned any of it. You just followed the chain. And somewhere at the top of that chain, someone made a decision about you. Same as you made decisions about others. No face, no reason, just geometry. You find a contact in Tunis, a man who trades in information the same way you trade in distance. He tells you what you already suspected. There's no single target. You've been burned by the organization that built you. 3 contractors are in the field right now, not looking for a target, looking for you. One of them was on the same course as you, same mountains, same mornings. Level 10, the last shot. You find him before he finds you. That's the only advantage you have left. A hotel in Marseille, 6th floor, northeast facing window. You set up in a parking structure across the street. Makeshift, improvised, not your usual standard, but your hands are steady. They're always steady. That's the one thing that never left. You wait for 3 hours, and when he appears in the window, your colleague, your equal, your mirror, you feel something you haven't felt in 14 months. Hesitation. Because you know this man. Not his name, not his face, but his patience, his geometry, his silence. You know him because he is you, and you understand in that moment, completely, finally, too late, what you became somewhere between Warsaw and Lisbon. Not a contractor, not a professional, a problem. And organizations don't negotiate with problems, they assign them. Your finger rests on the trigger, and you make a choice. The choice tells you everything about who you still are, or who you've completely lost. Some people ask what it takes to reach the highest levels of a hidden world. The answer is simpler than you'd think. You stop asking questions, you follow the chain, you do the geometry, and then one morning you open a file, and the photograph is yours. That's not the end of the story. That's just the level where most people stop moving forward. The ones who survive, they were never in it for the money. They were in it because somewhere along the way, the waiting became the only place they felt calm. Think about that.